Welcome to East Tennessee Pinball. Today I'm swapping out the batteries on this high-speed Getaway. I'm going to put in some NVRAM. I just pulled the board out. I've got it on the bench, so we're going to get after it. Here's the board. It's got these 3 AAA batteries on here. There's no corrosion to speak of. Now I look down here, it's like, yeah, it looks like flux. I flipped the board over, and it looks like somebody has put in a new AAA holder. So maybe the old one had some corrosion on the leads, but it didn't get off the board, but they went ahead and put the batteries right back on there again. You're playing with fire. So I am going to, first I'm going to desolder this, and this 6264, it's upside down. I'm going to put that, pull that out. I'm going to socket it, and then I'm going to put in one of these, which is a 6264 NVRAM equivalent. There's the number if anybody's looking for it. So I'm going to get going here. So get rid of these suckers. These are just ticking time bombs. You got batteries in your game, they need to come off. And so once I put that NVRAM in here, it'd actually be okay to leave this one here, but who knows where this game's going to end up 5 years, 10 years, 20 years from now. It's my game. I'm going to put it on route, but you know, who knows? I'm going to take this off. That way nobody will try to put batteries in here and ruin this board. So there's my solder sucker. Normally I'd freshen this solder up, but it looks moderately fresh. It's not, because it's stuck inside my solder sucker. When it's fresh, it doesn't do that. And by the way, this is probably not the board you want to learn how to solder on. It's not horrible, but it's not as easy an old Williams power supply or something, or an old Bally board, Bally power supply. Talking like system 3 through 7, something like that, which those things will just take a beating. This last one, you see it's got the big ground, or yeah, this ground all the way around. It's going to take a little extra heat. This is going to be the hard one to get off. I don't know. Be careful not to scrape those traces as I. So those two are loose. That one is not. That one's loose, and that one's not, and that one's definitely not. Okay, so we just got this one left here. See if we can get it off here. All right, that part's done. So this part, we've got to be a little more delicate. Fortunately, the pins are vertically straight up. And the first thing I'm going to do is, on this type of solder sucker, it works better if you have a fresh piece of rubber sticking out of there. I don't know exactly why that is, but I know that that is the truth. I'm gonna cut a new little piece here. I can't even see what that says. Okay, 62, 64, this one right here. All right. get after it. I'm going to freshen this up with some, I'm going to clean my iron up. I'll put a little dab of fresh solder on each one of these. That'll make the whole process a little easier, I believe. Turn the fan on. That looked good right there. So these are favoring that side, so I'm heating them up and just pushing them in a little bit so they don't, well, that wasn't a good example, so they don't resolder themselves to that right side. Okay, let's see if this thing is loose. Well, one side is, one side is not. Is that my loose side? Okay, so it's this side. They seem like they're loose. There's at least one of them that's not. That's really more pressure than I'd like to put on there, but there, I think they came out all right. All right, you grab a socket. That is not the right size. Okay, so it was a 28, stamped right there. I just had it pulled from the wrong bin. That falls down there nicely. Lay that on top of something so it stays in there. Well, I'll just hold it in my hand and solder with 2 fingers. Get a couple started so it can't fall out. Probably need to clean this up a little bit. little junks of solder where I was sucking it off of there. It's not doing me any good. You don't want any bridges. All right. Actually, while I've got this out, I'm going to change this little filter cap. I'm sure it's the 5 volts for the board. It's a 100 microfarad 10 volt. I'm going to just swap that out real quick. There we go. Let's see what I've got. So I'm going to throw in 135 by 35, which ought to do. And I'm going to use, well, could use that one. Don't know. Just for a second, I thought I could use those two, which would make a nice placement. But I don't think, or those two like that. But I don't think that is the same as that. I'm gonna grab my multimeter and figure it out for sure. But that's the pin that with that pin. Unless that's all, no. I'm gonna do the same thing and not do that, but I am gonna remove this one real quick if I can. That'll get me a little closer. Make sure I get my polarity correct. Well, those are the same. I'm looking at the back side. Big heat sink again. Hard to get it off there. So that'll make for a nicer placement. And I am going to check my work with the multimeter on that because they've got this a little tiny gap between the positive and negative on this board. So I will check that. All right. So I should not have any continuity between here. I don't. And these should be, yeah, those are the same, and those are the same. So that's all good. So I'm ready to throw it in the game, and again, now do my smoke test. All right, time for a smoke test. Here we go. Is it booted? I hear one bong. Okay, factory settings restored. All right, cool. I'm gonna turn it off and turn it on and see if it'll be, I think that's all it's gonna need. Now it should boot. There we go, now it's booted. All right, cool, so that worked. And it's loud as hell, and you gotta go into the factory settings and enable yourself to turn it down because, you know, they want the thing loud. Make some money. Hope y'all liked the video. If you did, click like and subscribe. See you on the next one. Cheers.